Well, hello again. This is the OhioRAAM show coming to you from Southwest Ohio, where it is cold and blowing, and the temperatures. Well, on my car, which is set on Celsius, it was 13 below. I can't translate that right offhand, but it's very nasty. But it's warm down in Florida, where we have a guest on this morning. I'm not going to give you any more announcements, but get in here quickly and talk to Valerio Zamboni. And hey, there's Marco Bello as well. Hey, I have to ask you a question right off the bat, Marco.
Yeah.
Is that Bello or Ballo? I hear people say it both ways.
Ballo.
Ballo. Okay. Well, I am so glad to have you here. What a nice surprise.
Yeah.
But I want to say that I have chased Valerio for, I think, a year and a half to get him on the show. And I want to say, Valerio, that you are my very best supporter. I think I could say that because you're always giving me likes and always comments, and I appreciate it a great deal. It's just been very hard to get you here, and I'm just happy to have you here with us this morning.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me first, because Mark, we just came here, and I want to tell you what happened when we were in Sebring, and of course, Marky was the hero of the day, together with Sarah Cooper, which I think she's amazing. Okay, but anyway, so he was the hero of the day, and I said, "Why don't I come over to Miami tomorrow?" And I think he had to come over to Miami anyway because it was part of the plan, right, Marco? And I said, "Hey, why don't I join with Willie? We will be very happy." So that's why Mark is here with me now, and together. Anyway, back to your original question. Yes, it was hard. You know, I really support. I'm a great supporter of you because I really like in the way you see things, and I know that you are fans of what's his name, Abbey something, this serious movie that they do about these English people anyway.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I'm following too, and I really like sometimes your comments on it.
Well, listen, before we get any farther, could you two guys squeeze together just a little bit so we can get both of you on there at the... There, that's better. That's better.
Okay.
I'm just seeing.
Not more than this, okay?
No.
Safety distance here, but anyway.
Well, Marco, the person of the day, is Valerio. You've been on the show before, but I do want to take a little time to congratulate you on a tremendous ride over Sebring. Actually, this is being recorded on the 16th of February. Sebring 1224 has just finished, and it's going to show probably the first part of May, but that's when we're recording it. We're doing a little different we used to, Marco. So how'd the ride go for you, Marco?
Well, you can see it was, well, everything went according to the plan. I don't know. I didn't expect that bigger number. I was aiming at 500 miles because, in fact, to tell you the truth, on the road race I've never done it, more than 500. I've done a couple more when it was drafting, and my 2 world records for 24 hours, which are on indoor and outdoor track, which are a little bit more like 550 or 560 miles. But yeah, that was my first time over 500 miles on the road, and yeah, it's special. I don't know. It's pretty early for us Europeans. I don't know, February. Not much intensity training yet, so I'm quite surprised. But there was a great field. I mean, a lot of motivation because there were some really good adversaries in the field, and I had a lot of work to to lose them. I think after 15 hours there was only 4 miles of difference between me and Scott Lurker. He's a really great guy. I mean, great cyclist. So I had to go full out all the time.
Yeah, a certain time I saw Scott on the raceway. Trying to take advantage on you, and when you stopped for changing for the night, he kept going on up to around midnight, 1 o'clock in the short sleeves and a short pants, and he would just pedaling like hell. Then at a certain point, he had to surrender to the cold and dress up, and then you came back to the original position. But he's a strong fighter. I really like the guy. He's really, you can see, he's just a clean and very honest guy. Anyway, sorry, I don't want to do your job.
That's okay. I mean, I said we're just here to chat. I do want to take a wee bit of credit for all this, because the people who have been on the show did very well down there, and so if you want to do well at Sebring or anywhere else, well, get on this show here, and we'll give you a little boost. But just for the record, Marco, I have the stats here in front of me. You did 521.7 miles, and I think Scott came in at 502.
Yes.
And my favorite Dane, well, I shouldn't say he's my favorite Dane, but one of my favorite Danes, Anders, was in there in third place. So congratulations to everybody down there. And Marco, since we chatted, you've kind of taken up the business of being in coaching, have you not?
Yes. Yes, haven't we talked about it yet? Yeah.
I guess, yeah, we were on together after you had started in that. Has that become a full-time job for you, or are you still working for the Department of Agriculture?
No, it's a full-time job, yeah. So it's exciting. I don't know. First time in my life, I do something I really love. So it's exciting. I love it for now.
Well, for the record, I had Chris Ragsdale on here a couple days ago, and you and he spent a little time down there in the desert a few weeks ago.
Ah, Scott Ragsdale. Yeah, sure. Ah, you had him on the show. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's going to air a little later.
Yeah, yeah, we do all kinds of crazy camps with him. He's I don't know, he's training for RAM, so he has to do crazy mileage anyway. So I like to join him, and I'm not complaining. I like that.
I can see. It looks like this year your interest did pay off. Your investment down in Dubai. Yeah, it's like good. Huh? Yeah. Because Marco, it's not like it's camouflaged the truth, okay? Because of course it's true that for the European, is not the best time of the year, February, but he didn't tell us that he spent 10 days doing a couple of 100 miles per day, probably in the desert, like a month ago with Chris.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of base miles. I'm not complaining about that. But
oh, thank you.
A lot of intensity miles, but I think Sebring would be in, let's say, April, May. I would do a couple more miles, I'm sure. But yeah. It's great. Scott is a great client. We do, like I said, we were in 2 weeks in Oman. He likes to do, I don't know, different venues. You know, last year he joined me in Slovenia for a week in a camp. We did Gran Canaria, which was great. So this year it was Oman. We might go to Nice in March. I don't know. That's the plan. So
come in the first part of March. That I will be there, because in the second part it will be Miami.
I think that's the plan. So there.
The plan is to go to see, eventually I will, in March, the plan is to go to the Texas for the Marble Falls race that they do. The RAAM challenges here, they see a 24 hours. Right. Yeah, it might be nice, and it might be good. No, I don't want to do any 500 miles now, like I did last year. I'm just trying to stick on the 24 hours, maybe a two or three 24 hours just before RAAM. We try to change a little bit things, okay? Because I don't miss the base, okay? We miss a little bit, we miss speed, and 24 hours is a good way eventually to improve the speed. Let's see if it works, okay?
Yeah. Well, I don't really need to be here. Just let you guys talk. I think it'll be just fine. But yeah, Valerio. Tell me a little about yourself. I always like to ask people what their life is like when they're not riding or training, but when I look at your schedule sometimes, I don't know if you have anything going on besides riding and training. But tell me about yourself.
Yes, you may be very right. Okay, what is my main business is just I'm in aviation business, and I'm trying to be, I started when I was in the 20s, and I was a pilot, an airline pilot, and I flew for a certain number of years. And then sort of 15 years after that, I start to be in the business of selling airplanes, private airplanes. and that's what I keep doing now. The fact is that I decide to use Facebook only for writing. I don't post anything different than my writing activity, okay? So a lot of people, they do have the impression that writing is the only things I'm doing, because of course they are following me on Facebook, which is not true, okay? So it's not an easy thing to combine everything, because I'm still very, very active on the business. So to put everything together, it means that you have to give up to a few sleeping hours at a certain point. But I have a great deal of motivation to do it, and I'm very happy, and I like ultracycling. And I want to keep going on until one day probably I will get tired, or other problems may come eventually in the future. But for the time being, I just like to do it.
And well, you must have some pretty good helpers to be able to spend as much time away as you do.
Don't forget that's part of my, yes, I do first. But second one is most of the business I do, we do this on the phone, okay? So it doesn't matter what I am, okay? The only thing is that I have to be ready to do conference call, maybe like it happened this morning, starting a conference call in Europe, and it was about 3:30 this morning, 4 o'clock. So it's not a problem to do it at that time of the night. For me, it's fine, okay? 80% of the business we do on the phone, okay? So for me, it's fine. So this is in the way my business is set up.
And so tell me a little bit about how you got into cycling, and leading up to what you're doing now.
Cycling happened incidentally. I mean, when I was in the 30s, my passion was to climb mountains. So, that's what I used to do. And I was a climber. And at a certain point, probably I was better in descending than climbing, because I fell down and I broke everything, including my hip and my legs and a lot of other stuff. And I had to stay almost a year off without being able to walk normally. Okay, I was in a wheelchair and all this kind of thing. So what happened after that I started to limit a lot my aerobic activity, and I started to gain 1 kilo per year, and after 20 years it was 20 kilo more. And one day I woke up, I was 94 kilos, if I'm not sure how many pounds there are now, but I said, this is enough, that's it, end of story. So I went through a surgery and I replaced my hip, and after that, the only things I could possibly do, it was either swimming or biking, which they were the only two things you can do safely with a hip replacement. And I decided for biking, and I started to do this like 7 years ago. And this is a little bit the story why I get into the biking hobby.
Now, as we were talking right before we went on the air, and excuse me, I was trying a different placement for my camera, and it's not working because I don't know how to look at it. But let's try here.
You look great.
Yeah. Now, you have done RAM 5 times, is that correct?
Exactly. I did 5 times. I missed the first one. I was DNF the first one, and I pay, like a lot of people, the non-experience on doing this kind of races, and it was I think I was able to get a little bit before the Missouri. No, actually, it was the first time patient in Missouri after Kansas, and when RAM, they called me and said, Valerio, we appreciate your effort, but we don't see how you can be at the cutoff or the Mississippi cutoff in a timely manner. So please get out of here. That's what this was. So love you so much, but get out of the race, and that's it. See you next year.
Well, as I've told so many people, Valerio, when you DNF, it puts you in a lot of good company. You know, there's a lot of big names that have DNF'd.
But whoever did try the experience of RAM, you know that DNF or not DNF is so much effort that I'm not talking about myself, of course, but I'm talking for the other people that before me and often you have the DNF, they have to be proud anyway they try to do it, because this is the ultimate challenge of your life in terms of biking. Of course, there is something more dangerous in the world, because probably, you know, I know a lot of other activity they are more dangerous, but in terms of physical exhaustion that you're going through, this is, I believe, it's people that have to be proud that they tried, whatever would happen, if they're able to finish or not finish, okay?
And you're scheduled again for 2015, is that correct?
Right. I mean, in the past year, I said this is my last one, but of course I was lying to myself. Now I don't like to lie to myself, so yes, I will keep. It's an automatic renew. You know, when you have these things that there are automatic renew on your iPad or iPhone. So this is, I put an automatic renew, and I keep going on until, again, something more important will happen.
And for the record, because it's all there on the RAM website to see, you're 61, or your race age will be 61 this year, and you're riding in the 60-69 age category, correct, Valerio?
Next question.
Well, like I said, it's there for everybody to see.
Yeah.
That guy next to you, I noticed that in a couple of years, he's going to be up in the next age category, too.
All right. Whatever you say.
Well, guys, we're in the same parade, just different locations. I turn 80 this year, so.
All right. Everything is relative, huh? Just it depends from the point of view, huh?
So, what other race plans do you have, Valerio?
This year, I decided to change everything respect for what I did until now. In the year before, I was chasing for the World Cup of Ultracycling, which it kept me motivated to do a race after races, okay? Otherwise, it's so difficult to keep you motivated every 25 or 30 days to do a race. This year, I decided I'm not going to run for the World Cup of Ultracycling, so I decided to do races that I want to do since ever, that I never did it because they were not, probably they didn't have enough points for, you know, for me, starting from the fact that I was, again, my goal was to win the World Cup of Ultracycling. So for the time being, I think on the table I have the Marble Falls, I believe is the name in Texas. Then I'm looking a little bit another one, 40 days after that, it's a 24 hours RAM Challenger series at 24 hours in California. I think is a sort of the first week of May. Because I may be in California for business at that time of the year. So if I will, I want to do this race. It's a very interesting race because there's a lot of almost all the departs of RAM. Okay, time station 1, 2, and 3 of RAM together. So it will be nice. Let me tell you this: I never did any race of this RAM Challenger series until last year. We were in Borrigo, and I really much appreciate the way they did it. I really liked it because it was fantastic. You know, it's like, you know, I'm not sure if it's going to be the same in Texas, but in Borrigo, the starting time, it was around 7, 8 o'clock at night. I can't remember exactly, 6 o'clock to 7 o'clock at night. It was fantastic. I mean, you do the night, you don't even know what you take it just without any problem. And the 24 hours is a quick one. In terms of logistics, you do not really have a lot of people because if you want to do decently a 500 miles, you need to have at least 5 people, at least, and have 2 vehicles because if something goes wrong in one vehicle, you have to have another one taking over. So when you have 2 vehicles, you have to have at least 4 minimum, between 4 and 5 people. And it's a little bit more complicated to organize it. 24 hours with 1 guy, 2 guys, you can do it. And I think it's just very, okay, you can do 1 guy if the guy is Irma. Yeah. If the guy is not Irma, you need 2 guys, okay? Lee, do you mind if I say Irma, can you just 1 second, because you deserve a little bit of your time here.
Sure, come on in.
Let me just say hi to Lee, and this is the lady that make Marco winning.
Oh, hi, Irma. Hi. Glad to see you. I knew you were I knew you were with Marco. I saw your pictures in some of the photos.
Photographer, filmmaker, sous, whatever you want, driver, everything in one.
Oh yeah, well I'm glad you popped in there. One of the great couples of ultracycling there, Irma and Marco Fallo. I'll get that name right. Hey, what would you like to ask Valerio, Marco? Anything you'd like to ask him?
I'll ask him over lunch. I wasn't thinking.
You want to know what I'm gonna have for lunch? Okay.
Yeah, we spent quite some time with Valerio, so he's a nice guy, and I don't know, we don't have secrets, and like to spend time with him. We always have a lot of time before RAM in fast things. Maybe this year again and again.
Yeah, yes, you do RAM this year?
No, but I'm coming stuff. So.
Oh, you're growing stuff?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Wow, different experience.
Yeah. Scary for me.
Probably what you're gonna kill him and take over his bike, and it's okay. Congratulations. It's not really a lot of things that in Marco, and I always admire his way that he has to do cycling. He's a very cool guy. They never get nervous, apparently. Then I don't know what's going on at home, but in the middle of the people, he never get again nervous, and he's always very calm. Okay, and if you see him biking, it's not a good thing to see because there's this poker face he has here. This one you hate because he doesn't move anything. He looks like he's drinking and sipping a nice tea somewhere instead of biking at. Sometimes I like to say, "Hey, could you show me that you are alive?" Because he looks like he's smiling, and he has no effort. His face is just like a normal one, okay? And Marco is not fast spinning on the bike, so which makes you even more nervous because he's probably going, I figure out around 70, 75, around 80. Yeah. Anyway, it looks like sometimes I don't know. It looks like this movements and this is not very fast, but every time he goes. Every pedal, every stroke you do, probably you do 8 or 9 meters instead of the 5.5 or 6 meters. I don't know, but it's really. I'm so happy that he's here because again we had a chance to spend a few days together last year in Palm Springs and this kind of things. It's a nice people to know. He's a nice friend. You know, in this kind of sport, you do have a lot of friends. I mean, friends maybe it's just a huge concept, okay? But you know a lot of people, okay? But it's not like you have a chance to talk to them. With most of them, you only talk on Facebook or messages or this kind of things, okay? And with Marco, he's the guy that just spend more time than anybody else. Probably you and Strasser a little bit when he was coming over. To see me last. So, but it's not like maybe the only few guys that had a chance to speak, beside Facebook or other stuff. So I consider him a good friend.
Well, Valerio, I know you have to catch a plane this afternoon. Are you headed back to your home? We didn't establish the fact that you live in Monaco. Is that correct?
Exactly. I just need to ask you a favor, Lee, if you don't mind. I have Alessandro Colò here, who is a young guy that he just like he's 25, 26 years old. He's my race director here, and I have to give him a chance to say hi to you because without him, he wouldn't. Any race I did, he was involved, and he's the guy who organizing my life during the race. Okay.
Well, hi, Alessandro.
Okay.
And I got you confused with another person of the same name who is about it in ultracycling.
Two people in the same sport. Alessandro used to be a professional guy in the past. Now he's an engineering. What kind of nuclear mechanical engineer, and is in a completely different domain of business now. But still, is a very valuable guy for me during the races. He's the guy who's telling to me if I'm doing good or not good, and most of the time he's telling to me I'm not doing good, but still I like him.
And Marco, when do you head for home back in Slovenia?
Yeah, we stay in Miami today and tomorrow, Wednesday we head back. So two more days of sightseeing in Miami. I already packed my bike, so I'll just be walking around. I'm pretty tired. So when Valerio said that I don't look tired, maybe during the races, but after the race you can see.
Yeah, but this,
I could hardly see.
but this is what I do not like. Because your face is a poker face. Your pain coming out from your skin.
Yeah,
This makes me feel even more miserable. Okay.
Well, I appreciate you guys taking time out and finally nailing you down, Valerio. And I know it wasn't because of any lack of interest. It's just you're such a busy people. You know, all you people are busy. You've got jobs, you've got training, you've got travel, you've got fundraising. I'm just amazed at all of you. And as I've said before, I'm not a racer, never raced. I'm the guy that slaps his sleeping bag and tent and stuff and, you know, takes out across the country. That's always been my end of cycling, but I got caught up in RAM a number of years ago back in the 80s, and I've never been able to let it go. And we're trying to expand the show a little bit to take in more of the whole ultra cycling scene, because there's a lot going on out there, guys, beyond just the race across America. I pinged Sarah Cooper, and I said, I just got to have you on the show. I mean, that was such a remarkable performance she put in over the last couple days.
Yeah.
I saw her, which, you know, Sebring, the first 12 hours in Sebring, it's just one of these days, okay? It's nothing different than any other race, okay? All the games, you can play everything, it's at nighttime. This is where the things happen on the nighttime on the racetrack. Then survive to the racetrack, it means that you will have a decent result at the end. And until the very last minute, Sarah, when I had a chance to see her, she was still fast, very, very fast. I mean, I don't think she had a moment. You know, usually around hours 18 and hours 20, 21 marks, you start to have a problem and you start to be a little bit tired. It's a moment that the combination between the cold and the fact you're tired, a lot of people have a small prize, and I didn't see her like that. She had any, okay? She's very good, very fast, admirable.
And she did, just looking at the record here,
Yeah.
460,
Yeah.
460.6 miles. And I did get a like from her when I sent a message to her on Facebook. I says, I'm going to be in touch because she's somebody I want to get on the show here in the very near future. Well, listen, we want to wrap this up. You've got other things to do. My wife's over in therapy, and I got to go pick her up. And I want to see. Oh, my goodness, folks. While I've been in here talking to you, it's been snowing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And I'm sure that Boston would like to pack up some of that snow they got up there and send it down so you guys could play in the snow down there in Florida. But, hey, thanks for being with us. We really appreciate it. Best luck to both of you. Thanks, Marco, for popping in here. I'm glad you did. It's just been a really cool show, and we want to thank everybody for supporting the show like Valerio does. He's always supportive of the show. If you see us on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, any place you happen to see us, and give us a little like, a little boost there, sure, that helps my ego. I have some ego needs. But more important, how these social media work, every time you give a like, that means that more people see that post. And the more people see this show, the more people get interested in ultracycling. And I have to say, I proudly say, that I know some people who had never heard of Race Across America, never heard of ultracycling, who have taken an interest because they happened to spot this show. So you can help that happen. We know we need to, we've got a great sport, and it's very important that we get the word out about it. So thank all of you. You can give your comments there on the website, OhioRAAMshow.com. And if you'd like to have notices when shows are being posted, just put your email address in there. We won't share it with anybody, and you'll get notices whenever a show is posted. Thank you again. Thank you guys for being with us, and goodbye for today.